Hey there guys, what's up? It's your buddy mikeyperion here, and I hope you have a great day because for today we are now at episode 16 of our iCraft season 5, and now we have just finished our live stream. And I apologize to you guys if our recorded episode is delayed because, well, I'm kind of busy for the last couple of days and I actually scrapped out our recording, which is supposedly for today's episode because, well, I changed my mind about the topic that I was about to do for that episode. Well, the episode was supposedly about building the exteriors of the stone factory, but unfortunately, I'm really struggling about the design that we are going to implement there because, well, we wanted to have the heavily industrialized theme in there, which is what the city of Perion should be. And apparently, I was thinking more of like a glamorous Victorian architectural style, so I stopped working on it and probably will just give it a time for me to find the right strategy in order for us to build our city. So for the meantime, well, we are going to stop building there in our episode, and probably I'm just gonna finish first building the platform off cam while we're doing some other builds in other locations for our episodes. So that's why we're trying to work here in the Nether. So for today's episode, we are going to work on our Nether Tunnel, and now I'm just connecting our east end portal to our Nether Tunnel because I wanted to determine an intersection between Smoke's base going to the end portal that will cross our Nether Tunnel from the town center going to our base. So the plan here is we are going to make our Nether Tunnel section by section. So basically, we are going to have some sort of like different designs on each segment. But for today's episode, we are only going to work from our intersection going to our base because I think that what is more feasible for me to publish this video in order for me to catch up on Friday because this is totally delayed already, right? And second thing, we are already going to have some sort of like planning about the Nether hub in the town center, which is probably will gonna start working soon. So now, well, of course, we wanted to adopt some sort of like designs that we are going to implement in our Nether hub. So probably it's the best for us to wait for that before we actually connect our Nether tunnel going to the town center, right? So now, well, we are just going to work the intersection. I mean, not the intersection. From the intersection, which is probably going to be the sub hub, some sort of like a sub hub in the future. And of course, we are going to work up to our base. So hopefully, well, this is going to be a fun project to do, right? And I'm also excited to start this. But anyway, so well, without further ado, let's get started. And well, we're actually done with our Nether bridge or pathway. Well, this is not yet a Nether tunnel. Of course, we still need to build some walls and some ceilings on the top part, of course, just to keep ourselves protected, similar to what we have done over there for our Nether tunnel where we are going to work on later. So we already have prepped up that area for us to start decorating that place. And also, of course, we need this Nether tunnel just to keep us protected from all of these, yeah, just like these magma slimes. So speaking of these magma slimes, one of these actually almost got me killed, drowning in the lava. Well, it's a good thing that we have fire protection 4 in our armor. Actually, 2 fire protection 4 with our god tier armor, some sort of. So basically, yeah, I have to take revenge for giving me a heart attack that I almost died earlier. Well, die you slime thingy. But anyway, so let's try just to finishing off killing these magma slimes. But anyway, so well, of course, like I said, this part right over here is going to be the intersection. So this is gonna be our sub hub, some sort of like a sub hub that we are going to build here in the future. Not for now, but for the next thing that we have to do. Well, I already got a consent of Smoke's. Well, that's actually Smoke's Nether portal going to his base. So what I'm thinking is that we can actually go straight. I mean, have a pathway going straight to his base, or some sort of like we can have some intersection in this area. So basically, of course, that's the next thing that we have to do. We have to build a pathway going to Smoke's base, and let's do it. I have to tell you guys that this is a very dangerous job to do, especially that those guys are kept on spawning and trying to shoot us. But anyway, so at least we got this pathway really wide, so at least we can easily go around, at least if we want to, you know, dodge or, you know, we stay away from those gas balls. But anyway, so well, bit by bit, we're gonna try to reach that platform right over there where the, you know, the Nether portal of Smoke is. But anyway, so well, eventually, well, let's just try to finish this, right? And yet another accomplishment. So we already have done this pathway going to Smoke's base. So already have connected this. So probably, of course, he will just need to put his nether portal down. So well, of course, it's up to him as well if he's going to put some walls and some ceilings. But I guess, well, actually we have not yet done this. So probably, well, we can also dig this up, these nether racks on the top part right over here. So at least we can, I mean, he can have some, you know, space, ceiling space on the top here. But of course, the next thing that we have to do is, well, I haven't put a wall and ceiling on this area right over here. But yeah, well, which is, I actually totally forgot that we also need to cover this up, right? But anyway, so I think that's the next thing that we have to do, and I'll be back. And well, I think we got some change of plans in the future because this nether fortress right over here, well, Smoke is actually working on a wither skelly farm, which is also close to our nether tunnel, well, which is also close to our nether hub, sorry, a sub hub. Probably we can also connect this because he just discovered that this is actually a double spawner, where we can actually put our base farm. So probably I think this is a better place for us to have another base, right? I mean, probably it will gonna be a common base, so that's where our base is. So technically, I think, yeah, that's where our nether tunnel is. So yeah, probably instead of like having our own nether base, we'll just gonna have this some sort of like a communal area where we can have our wither skelly farm, and as well as this of course the spawner farm, right? And placing the last couple of blocks, and well, we're actually done protecting our nether tunnel right over here where we are actually going to work for this episode. And yes, so I guess this is safe enough for us to make our build, especially that some of the materials that we are going to use are prone from fire. So basically we are going to work up to this area right over here. This is where our nether tunnel is going to be, and like I said, of course, this is going to Smokes, which I already have dug up the ceiling, and as well as on this area. And we got some more magma slimes. Well, it's a good thing that we're already starting building our nether tunnel, so at least we can already avoid these guys from falling on our heads. And yes, so like I said, well, this is going to be our sub hub. Probably I'm going to make a connection going to our future nether base, communal base, together with Smokes for our blaze farm, and as well as his wither skelly farm. So probably, of course, that's gonna be our project in the future. But for the meantime, well, we still need to do some more resource gathering for us, well, to continue our project here in the nether tunnel. So probably we are going to gather some bricks and some wood and some other materials that we can actually use for this nether tunnel. But anyways, I'll be back. And now we're setting up another double smelter right over here because I'm planning to use some nether bricks, actually red nether bricks in our build, so at least we can make this much faster. And as well as, of course, simultaneously we're gonna smelt some clay bricks that we are going to use for the floor rigs. But well, I totally forgot about these glasses though. But anyways, of course, I'm just gonna replace some of those with some clay, so at least we can have some, you know, bricks, right? But anyway, so let's grab some netherrack so at least we can already start smelting this. And as well as after this, I'm going to gather some birch leaves so that we are actually going to use in our build in the nether tunnel. And as well as we are also going to do some wood chopping while we're smelting this netherrack. So let's grab some iron to get some shears. But anyway, so well, I'm gonna start collecting some leaves and some woods, and I'll be back. And of course, this is all set up. So while waiting for that to be smelted, let's start gathering some birch tree leaves. Well, the reason why we're gonna use this because this doesn't change its color in the nether, right? So probably it's the best. Well, there's actually two leaves which doesn't change its color in the nether, which is the spruce leaves and these birch tree leaves. But I think these birch tree leaves are better in our design. So probably, well, it's for the best, right? And of course, we're gonna need some more of these dark oak logs because I'm planning to use some trapdoors similar to what we have done in our Let's Play Hardcore series. And probably we're also gonna gather some acacia wood because I'm thinking that it's also good to see that in, you know, using them as a columns in some parts of our nether tunnel. So probably, of course, these are the two woods that we are going to use in our builds, and hopefully it will turn out really good, right? And well, let's just gather some more of these clays. At least we can make sure that we have sufficient supply of these clay bricks in our Nether Tunnel. So probably just to have some sort of like spare, but we actually already have, some nether bricks in our base, but just to make sure that, we'll not lack of these materials. And wow, well, this is actually the first time that I've seen our base from the distance, and it's actually really tall, right? And hopefully in the future, once we already have built our clock tower, it will really looking awesome in the future. But of course, I'm totally excited to work on this, but for now, well, let's just work on our Nether Tunnel. And well, we're actually done with resource gathering, so now I'm just actually making some sort of like a bunker here just to make our stuff, these materials, secured from the gas blast. Well, I know this is pretty necessary, I guess, right? I mean, we don't want these materials to be all over once we, some gas starting blasting this up. But anyway, so well, the first thing that we have to do is actually to mark the pillars that we are going to have in our you actually scared me. But anyway, so well, the first thing that we have to do is to place the sea lanterns or markings on the patterns that we are actually going to implement here. So basically, these sea lanterns should be some sort of like every 9 blocks away. So probably on this side, it has to be some sort of like a little diagonal, and then there should be 9 blocks gap in between. So basically, that's how our pattern will gonna look like for this Nether Tunnel. But anyway, so let me try to figure out some things that we need to do. Well, I think we'll just gonna start first with the flooring, just to make sure that, those gas will not spawn in our build, right? But anyway, so well, let me try to do that. And so we already have done this marking. So the next thing that we have to build or to do is to place some gathers on the side. So basically, we also need to add some more sea lanterns in the flooring right over here, because this is where we are actually going to plant our leaves just to make it look like some sort of like bushes, so at least we can have some more light source in this Nether Tunnel. And of course, this area underneath this bridge or these prismarines are actually lava, so basically we also need to be careful. But anyway, so well, let's place all of the gathers in all of the sides, and I'll be back. And now we're trying to build these gutters on the side, and of course we got 1 block allowance on the side because that is where we are going to place the wall. So basically, of course, this work is going to be very redundant or repetitive because, well, it's actually a pattern that we're gonna have similar design all throughout our Nether Tunnel. Well, basically this is a Nether Tunnel, right? Which is, I think, most of the Nether Tunnels used to be like this. I guess so. And now it's time to add some floorings on our floor. So basically, we are using these clay bricks. So starting from here, so basically this will just be somehow plainly, clay bricks all throughout, because this is kind of similar to what we have done in our base, just to indicate that this Nether Tunnel is going to our base, right? But anyways, of course, I guess this will just gonna be quick, and well, I hope we'll get to the end. And so we're done with the flooring, so now it's time to work on the pillars. Well, I actually plan to put some sort of like the leaves on this part, but definitely since leaves are transparent, we have to make sure that the background or the ones on the back are actually also green. But I've actually originally planned to use these terracottas, using lime terracottas, but apparently the blast resistance of those terracottas are only 21, and we actually did 30 in order for us to make sure that the gas will not blow up our build, right? So probably instead of using lime green terracotta, I'm thinking that we can actually use some mossy cobblestone. But well, we have cobblestones, but it's not mossy though. So probably, well, we are going to gather some vines in the jungle area near our town center. But probably, of course, we're gonna need some shears, and I think I still got some shears in our ender chest. So basically, well, there's an ender chest in the town center, and let's do that. Well, I actually found this jungle temple right over here, which has a lot of these mossy cobblestones. But of course, I think we cannot destroy this because this is in the town center. And I also already have gathered 4 stacks of these vines that we can actually use. I'm not sure if this will be sufficient, but well, we're actually near here. So, well, we can easily go back and gather for some more, right? But anyway, so well, it's time to go back to our base to get some more cobblestone. And of course, well, resume building our nether tunnel. And well, I'm thinking that probably we should do this first as a sample on this area right over here, so at least we won't be, going back and forth in those requirements. But anyway, so probably later on we'll just gonna do a sort of like a time lapse in making this nether tunnel. But for the meantime, let's make a sample on this area right over here. So probably, well, just to make our design more visible or something like, at least we can define it better while we're doing this. So probably I think it's the best if we'll just gonna do this part first, and later on, well, we're gonna do a sort of like a time lapse in making or doing the rest of the parts of this nether tunnel. And yes, so well, let's try to come up with this design. And so far, well, here's the design that I came up with. Well, I'm not totally satisfied with it though, because this is looking pretty chaotic, I think. But I guess it's just because of we have used so much of those red nether bricks. Probably we can reduce some of them because yeah, this is looking pretty chaotic. So probably, well, let's just that totally scared me though. But anyway, so well, I'm just gonna try to kill that gas and I'll be back. And so I guess we're almost done preparing this, design that we could actually copy all throughout our nether tunnel. So basically, like I said, this is just gonna be the pattern that we're gonna implement all throughout up to the end to our base. So yeah, I hope this will turn out good, or it will look good. So far, let's just remove first these temporary blocks because, well, that ceiling is pretty high. Not too high, but yeah. So let's check it out. So I think, well, so far, it does look good, except for these lanterns though. Yeah, I think I don't like these lanterns because well, my original plan for this one is actually some sort of like chandelier, but this is only like 2x1 area for these lightings, and I think probably let's just put it on the walls, on the pillars. But yeah, I guess we have so much lighting in here though. Let's try this. So I hope this will turn out good. And yeah, I think that's too much though. Probably we'll just gonna have one of these for each pillar. But yeah, let's also try to remove this so at least we can see the overall look of it. So just to make sure that we're actually doing a great job here. Yeah, I think just one lantern is better. At least it will not be that too over decorated, and at least we can emphasize that we have some sort of like a higher ceiling for our nether tunnel. So at least, yeah, I think this is even better. So well, we just need to copy this all throughout our nether tunnel, and I think I'm already happy with this. And probably, of course, like I said, we are going to do the rest of these patterns in our nether tunnel in the form of a time lapse, well, a montage, just to break things out. But anyway, so well, let's do this montage and I'll be back. guys, well, we're actually done. We're actually done with our Nether Tunnel, and this is a no joke to do because it's really repetitive and, well, a lot of stuff, a lot of blocks to place for this Nether Tunnel. But I guess this will, yeah, this will make us really happy to pass by this Nether Tunnel, especially if we got horse running through this, and, well, it will be much faster. So I think, well, this design is really looking good. It somehow looks steampunk-ish. Well, not Victorian or Renaissance, but yeah, well, I can still feel like a steampunk vibe on this. On this Nether Tunnel, which is actually totally good because that's our team in our city. But anyway, so, well, I guess, well, you already have accomplished this, right? And so, well, I guess we are also done for this episode. But anyway, so, well, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment, please leave a like, and make sure to subscribe. This has been Mikey Perion, and I'll see you guys next time.